Race number 2 for the Demon Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Hatch Championship, and it is Matt Rosier back on pole position after his race 1 win ahead of Matt Stubbington, hoping to finish this time ahead of Lee Scott and Andrew Thorpe, Andy Philpotts and Marcus Ward, then Martin Kayser and Ed Cooper. Well, the championship situation gets more and more fascinating with every race. The top 3 are now covered by just 10 points on dropped scores. Marcus Ward is 2 points ahead of Lee Scott and is 10 points ahead of Matt Rosier, who starts on pole position. Matt Rosier is certainly not out of this championship fight yet. 3 races to go, 1 more here at Silverstone, which gets underway now, and the launch towards Abbey Corner begins with a decent start made by the pair of 205 GTIs on the front row of the grid. Now, we saw that Stubbington really challenged Rosier at the start of race 1. This time around, though, Rosier leads comfortably into turn number 1, and Lee Scott is coming around the outside into second place as well, and that's really important for Lee, who finds himself now only 2 points off the championship lead. He could take the lead of the championship if he beats Marcus Ward again in this race. On board with Ben Ward as he rushes down towards Village for the first time, and through the right-hander they go, up towards the left-hander at the link, and then the right at Chapel Corner. And are we going to see a resumption of those terrific midfield scraps that we watched in the first race? Let's hope so. It'd be nice to see a bit of a closer competition at the sharp end of the field as well, when Matt Rosier was really given things pretty much all his own way in race 1. Well, this time around, Lee Scott has got through into second position, so he might well be able to go after him. And into third, by the looks of it, is Andy Philpotts, so down into 4th place for Stubbington, and that could soon be 5th position, because around the outside is coming, by the looks of it, Martin Ward to try and get that place away. Did he manage to make that one stick through Stowe Corner? They're still side by side, but the Fiesta will have the inside line down towards Vale. Now, Marcus really could do with getting on with this one, but he's got Martin Kayser up the inside of him as well. 3 abreast into the braking zone, and Kayser could get 2 places in 1, which he does. Locks up, runs wide though. They come straight back at him through Club, and Marcus Ward taking the risk to go around the outside, but it's a risk that he really has to try and take to go after his big championship rivals, and Ward does go through Andrew Thorpe, almost in the gravel coming out of Club as he runs wide, trying to avoid contact with somebody. I think that was Daniel Fillingham will be inside of him, but that was a really crucial bit of driving there for Marcus Ward. He very nearly ended up losing a place, ends up gaining one and getting himself into clean air, so he now needs to try and use that to chase down the leaders so as not to lose this championship lead. On board with Scott Ward as he drops down the gears in towards Village. Andrew Thorpe and Daniel Fillingham side by side in front of us. Fillingham on the right, Thorpe on the left in the Citroen, who just about stays within the white lines coming out of Village. They'll be side by side again through the link, and of course Scott Ward will be trying to take advantage of this to carry a bit more speed down the Hanger Straight, which is exactly what he does. Better exit out of the right-hander, gets in the toe as well, and the Fiesta, a slightly newer car than the 2 cars in front of him, might just have a few more ponies in a straight line. It matters little though when Andrew Thorpe is able to get across to defend the inside line, and I think that Ward had to back out of that one slightly so as to avoid running into the back of the Citroen. Martin Kayser there in the Martini livery number 88 car with Ed Cooper behind. Ed Cooper losing ground in the championship now. He's still 3rd, but on 124 points. He's now 18, he's now, championship leader Marcus Ward on 152, so that's the sort of gap that they've got between them. So Ed Cooper starting now to lose touch as far as the championship is concerned. He's still one of the best presented cars on the grid, in a grid full of really well presented cars. It was almost a bit less well presented though. If those two had made contact at Club, that could have got messy, but Martin Kayser left him just enough room. As a result, Cooper will have the inside line now for Abbey Corner, and I think he's about to go through, is he? Let's see if Kayser can stick with him on the outside. He can't, so Cooper goes through. You can see there is the odd damp patch across the track. We've had some overnight rain. The circuit is definitely drying out now as we get into the middle portion of the day, but there are just a couple of little damp patches which could catch the drivers out, particularly if they're going offline to try and attack or defend. So we'll just keep an eye out for that over the race. Martin Kayser trying now to close back in on Cooper. Of course, these two are fighting for 4th place in the championship. They are only 2 points apart at the moment, and are both dropping the same amount of points actually, so it's a straight fight between those two for the 4th place in the championship. The leaders though, look how close they are. Matt Rosier definitely not getting away this time. Lee Scott going with him. 3rd place is still Andy Philpotts though, and Marcus Ward down in 4th. Not only would he lose the championship lead if things finish as they are now, he could actually drop back behind Rosier. Depending on whether Rosier wins or not, it could see our current championship leader dropping down into 3rd place in the points, going into the championship finale next time out. So, the Yokohama Demon Tweeks Classic Stock Hatch Championship always does seem to produce dramatic championship showdowns, actually, and it looks like 2018 is going to be no exception. There's the number 87 Peugeot, Stuart Place. Good to see so many retro liveries out there. The total Peugeot colours, reminiscent of the mid-90s Peugeot Works touring car squad. And that car, again, looking resplendent in its retro colours. Here, though, is the lead battle, and Lee Scott is with Matt Rosier. Now, what can he do about him? Matt was able to escape from some of the battling going on behind in the first race. This time around, though, he's got company right from the get-go, albeit these two have still been able to pull a big gap look over the fight for third, and it's really important for Marcus Ward, who's in fourth place at the moment, that he gets ahead of Andy Philpotts, even if he can't go after the leading two. Third place is worth a few more points than fourth, and every point is going to count this year. Here come the leaders then, down towards Stowe Corner, and Matt Rosier thinking about defending, but that Peugeot we've seen from some of the onboards this weekend, the Peugeot 205 GTIs are very quick in a straight line. Even though you'd imagine the slightly newer Fiestas might be a little bit more potent. That's not necessarily the case, but looked like a good exit from Stowe there for the second place man, and so Lee Scott could be close enough to throw one up the inside into Vale. Peugeot, though, is also very good under braking, although locking up was Rosier, taking to the curb for both of them, and in fact Rosier nearly tipping over. He was so far airborne with the left-hand side wheels. For third place, though, it's side by side, and Marcus Ward is trying this outside line again at Club Corner, and it's worked to perfection once more as he simply runs rings around the number 11 car of Andy Philpotts and takes third place away. Now, we're about halfway through the race. Has he got time to close in on the leading two? He seems to have much better pace in this race than he did yesterday. We heard in his interview with Anthony after the first race that he had an engine issue in the second half of the race. Well, if they've got that remedied, then he might be able to show his true speed now and possibly close in on the leading two. Sideways behind him was Andy Philpotts. He tries to get the position back, and it's good to see Matthew Stubbington with his car in one piece now as well, after mechanical gremlins put him out of race number one, but he was running inside the top five. Well, he's in fifth place again now in this race, and let's see if he can hold on to a top five position. Ed Cooper will be doing his best to try and make sure that he doesn't. He's the man running in sixth, and he's really got away now from Martin Kayser, who is side by side with Daniel Fillingham in the background. Leaders, though, make their way down into the braking zone at Stowe, and if anything, Lee Scott is even closer now to Matt Rosier than he was a lap ago. But it's all about the exit speed from Stowe, really, to try and get the run down towards Vale, and that's where Rosier seems pretty strong. The car coming off the corner well, and so Lee Scott, you can see, is not close enough, under braking into the left-hander. Less curb taken, significantly less curb taken by both drivers this time around, as they tried to keep the cars on terra firma, and then disappear back through Club Corner. Onto the pit straight they go. Rosier with the lead, but this is not a 7.5 second cushion that he enjoyed yesterday. This is much, much tighter, which is good for us, not so good for Matt Rosier. Right, then you've got this fight for third between Marcus Ward, who is not really escaping from Andy Philpotts in fourth, then it's Stubbington, and then it's Ed Cooper. Four cars together, and as we saw in race one, the slipstream with these quite boxy cars really is playing a part in the racing, and it's keeping everyone quite closely bunched together. But once you get to the head of a group, whereas at some of the more technical circuits, you'll be able to maybe pull away from them and catch the next group of cars in front. Around here, where straight line speed is so important, it's not so easy. A group of cars working together, I say working together, I mean running closely together. They're not necessarily actively cooperating, but just running in a line like this. They will be quicker around here than one car trying to circulate on their own, and that's why we see these little clusters of cars staying quite close together, but not necessarily gaining ground on the other clusters of cars around them. Down towards Stowe come the leading two. I noticed in the background Daniel Fillingham is now ahead of Martin Kayser, so he did make that move stick a lap ago. Kayser starting to slip further down the order, and therefore further out of championship contention. Down the hill, though, in towards Vale go the leading two. Once more, Matt Rosier gets off Stowe Corner well enough so as not to have to defend down into the left-hander. Same is not true, though, here in this group, because they're getting ever closer together now. And Ed Cooper, I think, at the back of this group, looks like he's got some real pace. He's been able to latch onto them and pull away from the group of cars behind. So Ed Cooper, who, again, we didn't necessarily see the best of in race one, certainly seems to be back with a vengeance here today. The number 5 car gets taken outright race victory this year, but he's been on the podium. That's why he arrived here 4th place in the points. 3rd, actually, before you take the drops into account. He's running 6th in the race at the moment, just behind Matt Stubbington, who has a bit of an inconsistency otherwise, as we're seeing here. Would have had the pace to be a contender himself. But he's all over the back now of Andy Philpotts, and Andy, I think, is going to be under some pressure here down the Hanger Straight, because we've seen that these 205s are quick in a straight line, and if Stubbington gets a good exit from this right-hander, he could be right with the number 11 car down at the end of the straight. He all seemed fairly even off the corner though, so I don't think we're going to see huge improvements made down towards Stowe Corner, where the leaders are maybe a little bit more separated now than they have been for the last few laps. So it really is all about this fight for third place, and Stubbington is closing in here on Phil Potts, but Phil Potts defends the inside. Stubbington goes to the outside. There's lots of weaving going on under braking, but in the end the positions don't actually change. So it's still the two red Fiestas ahead of the grey and orange Peugeot and the white and yellow Works liveried, if you like, from the mid-90s Vauxhall Nova. Oh, ducking and diving under braking, and again it's Stubbington who's the man on the attack now as he tries to find a way past Phil Potts. As they go through the left at Vale, the right at the first part of Club, and then flat out through the second apex, out onto the pit straight. And along past the Silverstone wing, very impressive building with the Formula 1 pit complex here at Silverstone. Recent plans announced to build a hotel, in fact, alongside the straight that the car's going along now, which will offer some great views of the action on particularly the international layout, which, whilst a bit of a hidden gem, really, actually, it's a circuit that is used by one of the club-level racing series in the UK. Not necessarily some of the more high-profile events, but it really does produce great racing. As we're seeing here, the slipstreaming, as is always the case around Silverstone, no matter what layout you're racing on, is always a factor. It really does produce close quarters action on the international layout. Right, Daniel Fillingham, having got past Martin Kayser, is now in danger of losing the position again because he's a bit slow out onto the hanger straight. Kayser gets up the inside, and Scott Ward, with a double slipstream, could make it three abreast here. You can see he's closing. He'll be with them by the time they reach Stowe Corner, and he does go up the inside line. So Kayser's now pinched in the middle. This is not the first time this weekend that Martin Kayser's found himself three abreast down the pit straight, and on the back straight, excuse me. In the previous occasion, it ended with contact. But look at that, great move made there, and 2 places gained for Ward, and now Kayser trying to come back at Scott as they run down towards Vale, but Ward has the inside defensive line covered. Where's Fillingham? He's still behind us, and also joining in the fun. Look, we've got another car starting to join in, side by side behind us, whilst we try and go back around the outside of Scott Ward as well. Ahead of us, the battle for the final step of the podium is further intensifying as well, because Marcus Ward still has it, but the number 11 car of Andy Philpotts very much in touch still, and actually they're pairing off slightly now, these two getting away from the dicing pair behind of Stubbington and Cooper, and diving up the inside line. That's a really nice move if he makes it stick for Andy Philpotts. Oh, and Stubbington goes straight through as well, and that could not have worked out worse for Marcus Ward, who was already being overtaken by Philpotts and then had to dive out of the way of an out of control Peugeot, and he ends up losing 2 places. So Marcus Ward, the championship leader, who was looking like he was holding on to that 3rd place pretty comfortably until that point, and all of a sudden finds himself with all of that work to do again, and he really does need to try and get these places back as far as his championship's concerned. Down towards Stowe again, and the 11 car now into 3rd place, back with Scott Ward further back as he starts to challenge Martin Kayser, who's gone back ahead by the looks of it through the first half of this lap. Martin Kayser hanging on through Stowe, back down towards Vale again, and Kayser tight in towards Stowe. That means he might be a bit slow on the exit of the corner. Ward very casually working his way down towards the braking zone, looks to the inside line. He's late on the brakes, he's up the inside, but Kayser rolls off the brakes at the last second, pulls across the apex and hangs on to the place. Well, that little shuffle that's gone on just in front of this group in the top 5 positions, though, that has really changed the complexion of the championship. Lee Scott was already set to take the championship lead away from Marcus Ward. He could now be even further ahead of him going towards the final round, but Marcus is fighting back now. Look, around the outside of Ed Cooper, going through Abbey Corner, gives him the inside line through Farm. As long as he's late on the brakes, he should be able to make the move sticking towards Village, which he does, and now he'll go back after Andy Philpotts. But the 2 Fiestas have been very evenly matched all race long. Stubbington, of course, did survive that wayward moment down here a lap ago. He ran out onto the runoff area and actually has been able to latch back onto the tail of the group. A mistake there from Philpotts, and so Marcus Ward has the chance to get in the slipstream now down the hanger straight again. This is a really important battle, as we've said, because his 2 rivals in the championship are currently running 1st and 2nd. It's a case of damage limitation now for Marcus Ward, but 3rd place would be a lot better than 4th place, and he's well aware of that fact, so he's going to do everything in his power to get back ahead of Andy Philpotts here. Then it's Cooper still in 5th, ahead of Stubbington 6th. Through the right-hander at Stone, a bit of a twitch there for Philpotts as he comes out of the turn. Drops down the hill towards Vale. Middle of the road is held, though, by the number 11 car, who pitches his way through the left-hander and back through the right-hander now, but Ward has been really quick through this part of the circuit all race long, and he's going to try and get up the inside through the 2nd apex. Can't do it, though. He'll carry some good speed onto the pit straight, get back in the tow. In fact, gets a bit held up there by the 11 car coming off the corner. And as we start the final lap, they're 3 abreast again, and Ed Cooper dives to the inside line. He's almost in the pit wall as he goes up the inside of Marcus Ward, but I think he's going to go back through. So actually, it's a place lost for Ward. He tries to fight back again, though, round the outside. These two ran wheel to wheel through this corner a lap ago. They're going to do it again. They almost lean on each other. Stubbington's in there as well. Marcus Ward trying to fend them all off here for 4th position, and does just about succeed in doing so for the time being, but that means that he's lost touch now with Andy Philpott, and with only 2/3 of a lap to go, I'm not convinced he's going to be able to close back in on the 3rd place driver, although what do I know, because within a corner he's right back with him. Andy seems to be struggling through that right-hander at Chapel out onto the hanger straight, and so Ward is right back on his tail again now with half a lap to go. At the front of the field, Matt Rosier is going to be run a little bit closer this time to the checkered flag by Lee Scott, but he always really has seemed to have it under control. There's a back marker to negotiate on the run out of Stowe, which they both will negotiate cleanly, but Matt Rosier is not going to be caught. There's a yellow flag out anyway at the final turn, so no overtaking down here. There must be a car off somewhere, but Matt Rosier is going to do the double race victory. This will be his 4th win of the season and his 2nd double race victory of the year, to put himself right in the heart of the championship battle. He wins from Lee Scott in 2nd place, and the big question is who is going to be in 3rd place in the background. It is going to be Philpotts, I think, so Philpotts will come home in 3rd, only just less than half a second ahead of Marcus Ward in 4th, with Ed Cooper 5th and Matt Stubbington 6th, but Marcus Ward is going to lose ground in the championship. He will lose the championship lead to Lee Scott, and he may even lose 2nd place to our race winner race winner Matt Rosier. Well, there is confirmation then of the result. Rosier from Scott, from Philpotts, Ward and Cooper, your top 5, with Matt Stubbington 6th, Martin Kayser was 7th, Scott Ward 8th, ahead of Stuart Place and Daniel Fillingham in 10th. Then it was Jason Wood and Ben Ward, Paul Brock and Steve Groom, ahead of Martin Rogers, Paul Rosier, Jason Watkinson, Rick Groom, Darren Brassingthwaite and Alan Dewley in 20th. 4 non-starters for that race, unfortunately. Derek Rosier, James Hasselhurst, Scott Woodhead and Andrew Thorpe, unfortunately, never took part in the race.
Matt, you've done it again in the Peugeot 205. Congratulations. Full dry setup, worked perfectly.
Yeah, thank you very much. I went very, very slightly softer on the rear just to get a little bit more grip. The track surface it looked damp, but it felt dry. So it was a little bit of a safer setup, but it seemed to work for me.
It was a rather big Fiesta XR2 in your mirrors, wasn't it?
The whole race, yes. It got progressively bigger and bigger and bigger, and I managed to make it a little bit smaller, but it got bigger again, especially near the end of the race.
And it's great points for the championship.
Yeah, I didn't have a particularly good meeting at Cadwell, so I need to gather as many points as possible to give me any chance for the win.
Well, you got the momentum now. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Lee, 2nd again. What can you do to get past that Peugeot?
Let his tyres down. No, in all reality, Matt drove a good race today. I think this is one of the circuits that would better suit a Peugeot, but to be honest, I was quite pleased that I was so close to him to keep him so honest today, so I'm pleased with 2nd.
Then, did you go full dry setup as well?
I did, yes. Yeah, although I had some pretty good tyres on, which I've clearly wasted now because it was dry. So, but yeah, it was full dry.
Well, important championship points. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Well, Andy, third place. Don't really tell the whole story. What a scrap it was. Everybody was chopping and changing. The Nova was in front of you at one point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was Marcus Ward, Ted Cooper, myself. We were chopping and changing all the way through. It was very, very close racing, very fair racing. Just what classic stock hatch is all about.
And slippery offline as well, so when you're dicing that much, you've got to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely, and as with the others, I'm on a full dry setup, so you just got to be wary of where the damp patches are, particularly into the chicane. It's a little bit dicey, but if you keep it on the dry stuff, it's not too bad.
Coming away the podium, you've got to be happy.
I'm very, very happy. Yeah, over the moon. It's been a long time coming back again, so I'm dead chuffed.
Go and enjoy it. Well done.